Welcome. You're tuned into Life is a Sacred Journey. Every week, we bring a new perspective to aging and caregiving. Here is your host, Michelle Pope.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the virtual neighborhood of Life is a Sacred Journey. You will notice that I am not in my normal location. This morning, I am dealing with vehicle problems, so I am recording from my house, and so I've never done it on my own on my phone. And I have this virtual background, so I'll try not to move around too much. Well, good morning to all of you. It is so great to have you here. Hit that share button. This is a really great topic. I have a lot of questions myself about downsizing and when to do it, how to do it, but I also want to make sure that we share it with other people. So hit the share button. I also would be remiss, and I hope you all will join me in the chat by wishing my beautiful, most wonderful friend of friends, Louie Verbogen. He lives in Belgium, and I believe Louie is 11 years old yesterday or today. I always get it mixed up because of the time difference. But Louie, I cannot tell you how much I love you. You mean the world to me. And I just want to wish you a happy, happy, happy birthday. So join me in the chat. Wish Louie a happy birthday. He is the most magnificent young man, and I am honored to be his friend across the ocean. So happy birthday, Louie. I believe it's 11. I don't think I missed one. And if I did, forgive me, but you know how much you mean to me. I love you so much. All right, friends, let's get into the topic today. It's so good to be with you. There are, and I'm gonna start bringing Dayna Wilson in as I have opened up the stats. I did some research and I wanted you to know why this topic is going to become so much more important as we go forward. So Dayna Wilson is known as the Downsizing Diva. Dayna is a senior real estate specialist and certified senior housing professional who focuses on boomers, zoomers, and savvy seniors. I love that. I'm going to have her tell you. I think I know what boomers are, but I want to hear what she has to say about savvy seniors, right? As a downsizing coach and a senior specialist, she not only creates customized strategies for marketing and selling a property, but also works with the clients, works with the family in selling a property, but helps them to look at everything and all the housing options. Sometimes we think this is only this or only that, and it isn't. There are many, many options out there, so Dayna helps with that. She also is a certified senior specialist, and so she's astute in the financial. We talk about that a lot here on Life is a Sacred Journey, that how our financial situations change as we get older. It doesn't mean that we didn't do a good job, because sometimes people tell us, oh, you didn't do a good job, you didn't save enough. No. Life has changed over, I know, even my lifespan and where money goes and how much I can save and not save and all of that. But she looks at all of that and walks with you as a partner, as a friend, as a colleague, to make sure that you make the best choice for you. You know how we always, Dayna, we talk about comparison and judgment here at Life is a Sacred Journey. And don't compare your situation to anybody else's. You are a unique individual. You need an expert to come in and walk with you. Yes, your friends and family will give you their ideas and what they think is best for you. But I always say, get the information so you can make the best choice, so you can be happy after you've made that choice. So that if you're angry about the choice, the only person you're going to be angry with is yourself. I've done it, right? So let me give you some stats, and then we'll start talking to Dayna. And thank you, Dayna, for being here this morning. There are 55.8 million adults over the age of 65. I'm one of them. I make up 16.8 of our population by the year 2040 is going to go up. It's going to grow to 22%. And that is because the baby boomers still make up the majority of the population living today. and we are aging longer. There's a larger number of us, and that whole baby boomer sort of trajectory has been broken up in different phases. And there's another group coming behind us that will just be moving into 65 over the next decade. And so we're going to be seeing that going on. Also, I thought this was interesting. By 2050, 19 million people will be over the age of 85, and they will make up 24% of the older adults living now. Wow. So what does that mean to all of us? What does that mean to you? Dayna's here to help us to unravel that a little bit. And if you have any questions that you would like me to ask, I'll do my best to shift things around. I'm not working with my two big, you get so used to stuff, people. My two big computer screens, because I'm working from home, so I have one screen, but I'll do my best to make sure that your questions get answered. And if I can't get them, put them in the chat anyway, and we'll send them to Dayna so that she can respond to them after. And then that way you can keep that connection going with her in case you need to reach out and talk to her about our topic today. So welcome, Dayna. Welcome, Dayna Wilson, to Life is a Sacred Journey. We usually have a round of applause that we do in the background, but we'll do it for you this way. And thank you so much for joining us on this topic. This topic is so very, very important. And so when you talk about boomers, zoomers, and savvy seniors, would you explain what those three categories mean to you, and so that we know what you're referring to?
Well, I think we all know. And thank you for inviting me to join you this morning. This is such a pleasure, Michelle. This is awesome.
Well, I'm glad you're here.
And I think this is a wonderful opportunity to, my whole lot in life is helping people be empowered by being educated, informed, and it's everything you're saying is spot on. We want to be living by design, not default. And the more we know, the more truth and facts we have, we can make the better decisions for ourselves. And you also said that every situation is different, and of course it is. But you asked boomers. Obviously, I think we all know what a baby boomer is. To me, a zoomer, and I don't know, one day I was feeling silly, and so I said, well, are you a boomer, zoomer, or savvy senior? And it just has stuck. But to me, a zoomer may be a senior, but they're still very active. They may still be working, or they're volunteering every day, or they're, golfing or traveling. They're zooming around. They're busy. It's not necessarily how we age, but what stage we're in.
Okay.
And there's a book that I am dying to get my hands on that is my next go-to read, and that's the title of it. I think it's Stage, Not Age.
Because, like that.
Yeah, because you can be, living a sedentary life for whatever reason because of health issues, and you could be 52. I mean, it's not necessarily an age. You could be 100. I don't know if you've seen the documentary Age of Champions.
Yes.
Isn't that awesome?
It's awesome.
100-year-old tennis players,
right,
that are still going to the senior silver Olympics.
Yes.
So, I don't know, we tend to use age too much, but and a senior is just that. I mean, I kind of say over 65, but shoot, that's not that old. So
no, not anymore. Yeah, you're right. Not anymore. Yeah.
Nobody wants to actually, I don't think any of us like the term senior, because we think of our great grandmothers or something, sitting in a rocking chair knitting, and that's not necessarily the case. I started a long time ago in real estate, and then I remember I was sitting in a business planning session. It was an all-day thing with our broker, and she said, you cannot be everything to everyone. So who do you want to serve? Who do you want to serve? And what type of people do you like to be around? And I thought, my age and older. And so I was really close with both sets of grandparents, and used to volunteer at what used to be called the Green Valley Convalescent Home.
Okay.
Now it's a SNF, or skilled nursing facility. And I used to volunteer at Alta Bates Hospital in Berkeley. And I fell into this naturally. It was not strategic at all. It was just sort of organic. And this is what I love to do. It's my passion. It's what gets me up in the morning. Can I just read you? This is
Yes,
not your,
please,
this
please.
is so sweet. This is my why. And I'll
Okay.
try not to cry. I got this email yesterday, and I'll change the names, but
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
got this message yesterday. Dayna, I just want to thank you so very much for today. My dear friend Sally was in shock and tears when I got to her home in Lafayette. She, like me, is in her 70s, single with no children. Each of us have one sibling, a brother, and both brothers live far away. Susan's brother resides out of state. Things are difficult when it comes to a major transition in such a short time. Well, it's unnerving to say the least. I believe in divine order, and today had to be it. In hindsight, my attending 2 of your Savvy Seniors Living seminars at the Lafayette Library were part of the plan. On the way to Sally's, I prayed I would know what to do to help her. And the first thing that came to mind was you. She was paralyzed with fear and unable to make a decision. I
Yeah.
told her I would not leave until we called your office and got an appointment. And it goes on to say, but to call and have you answer your phone was unbelievable. And then you spent an hour sharing information, resources, options, and hope. When
Yeah.
I left Sally, she cried with relief. She's in good hands, and both of us can relax a little knowing she will get through this. So this is not to brag about me at all, but this is to share the
Yes.
type of situation that people are in every day.
Yep.
Something happens. So the vast majority of us intend to, well, politically correct term by those in the field of aging is age in place.
Age in place. Yep.
But guess what? That's not what we say. We say, I'm staying put.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
not
right.
going anywhere, right? I'm going to
That's
just
right.
stay put. So most of us want to do that. That is our intention. And sometimes it's the optimal thing to do.
Yep. Yep.
However, we know, statistically, we know that even the best laid plans, the problem is life happens.
Yep.
And I usually get the call when either the house has become a financial, emotional, or physical burden. Something has happened. There's 3 different kinds of move. There's the lifestyle move where I've had clients that are moving to Florida because they want to, actually I had clients, they moved from Danville, they moved to Florida. They're building a custom home on a golf course in a 55 plus community. They're actually moving up.
Yes.
They're
Okay.
not moving down. They're right
Right.
sizing, but their right size is different because they want room for lots of grandkids to come and visit and have fun with them in Florida. So that's more of a lifestyle move.
Lifestyle.
And then we've got the proactive move. You know, I get calls when people say, you know, I really don't like to see Wally up on the roof anymore, cleaning out the gutters. We have a huge piece of property. It's a lot to keep up. And we are just thinking ahead, knowing that at some point it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
So those are people that are just being proactive. Bless them, because those are the folks that come to the seminars that I give every month. They are lifelong learners and they're planning ahead. They're
Yep.
proactive planners. And those folks, I believe, are usually the happiest with the outcome because they're doing the plans, just like you started this session today.
Yep.
They are doing the homework and the research. They're gathering information.
Yeah.
Don't ask me to tell you right now, but there are 5 stages of readiness. And many of us get stuck in that first stage, which is denial.
Yep.
Right. But
Yep.
the next one is, you know, then there's the thinking and the planning and the action and what have you. And that's a whole nother topic of discussion that we could just talk about for an hour. But, you know, love the proactive planners. And then there's the crisis moves.
Crisis.
The
Yeah.
crisis moves. And those are the folks that say, okay, well, I had to have emergency surgery and I can't go home now. I live in a trial level, or my kid, you know, I don't have kids, or my kids are out of state. You know, I love kids. I mean, we have a close relationship. We love our kids. They love us, but one lives in Germany and the other 3 are out of
Yeah.
state. And
Yeah.
you know, we can't expect them to drop their lives to come
Exactly.
and help us. And then, you know, what do we do? Where do we go? How do we make this happen? And those, unfortunately, those moves are not very positive because other people have made those choices for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, you
Mm-hmm.
can't go home. What are you going to do? What are we going to do? And then your options have like narrowed to very few.
And
So
so when you talk about those individuals a little bit, I just want to ask a question that has always been on my mind. Is it the fear of which I think it is, because I think it is for me, of when you have your home, you feel comfortable in it, sort of what it's all about in living in your home and all of that, and you feel secure, so you're afraid of giving it up, because then that's a sense of, and your memories, everything about your home you're built into it. You kind of become the DNA of that home. And what you're saying is, if you wait too long, you may end up in a crisis mode, and then the very thing that you love becomes something that you then not like, and it becomes a burden. Pretty much in crisis mode.
well, it may not work for you anymore.
Yeah.
Or maybe, the things that happen are, and I have a whole list of questions that I ask people to consider. I kind of follow this proven plan for people. And the first plan is, the first, I guess, step would be creating that plan for your current and long-term lifestyle. So you're good at your home right now, great. But what if? So this plan is the what if plan. That might be an easier way to think of that. So what if I can't drive anymore? What if my health goes downhill? My mom did not wake up one day and decide, today I'm going to have a stroke. Yep, today's a good day to have a stroke. But it happened. So, the week before, she was still going to her garden club meetings, and, we'd be going out to lunch, and she was just living her life.
Yeah.
And then, the next day comes along and life is turned upside down for the whole family. So, and what if we don't drive? What if we just don't have the energy to cook and shop and clean? What if something happens to my spouse? What if my spouse, you're coming from Alzheimer's Association. What if my spouse's dementia gets worse? Can I care for them?
Yep.
And how does that look? And does that work with where we're currently living? Do I have the resources and support I need close by?
Yeah.
So, lots of things. I want people to consider their lifestyle, financially, where they're going to stand. Sometimes people don't realize that when their spouse passes away, their income is going to change.
Yeah.
Social Security, things will change. And then what would you possibly need to do to prepare? And then even think about, okay, so what if this were to occur? Where could I age? And sometimes aging in place could be selling your 4,000 square foot home in Round Hill Country Club and just moving to a single level, still detached home. I had one couple where he had a failed back. And so they moved from their large home into a one level home with a pool on purpose, because his doctor wanted him to be doing water exercises.
Okay, that makes sense.
But that's their aging in place, one level with a pool. That's what that looked like. Some people are just deciding, well, I'm going to age in place. Maybe they move to a Rossmore. Maybe they do move to a 55 plus. And then they need to decide if they do that type of move, they need to decide if they need more care and help. Do we bring the care in house?
Yeah.
Or do we move to where the care might be? And then financially, that's a big difference. It is almost twice as much to have care come to your home.
Yeah. It's very, yes.
But strangely, people think the other way. They say, oh, I could never afford one of those expensive senior living communities. Too expensive. My gosh, they want $5,000, $8,000 a month.
Yep.
Well, my mom's care was running almost $24,000 a month to stay in her home. And I won't get into the details, but it's complicated. It's complicated. So where would that be? And then you are the one that's making those decisions about, well, let's go see some of these places, or let's go look at what a townhome in this community that we've always driven by and thought looked nice. Let's go look at one of those places and see what that looks like. And the cool thing is, you may never have to use this plan. You may never even have to use it, but it's just like you have car insurance. You don't have car insurance because you woke up today and you're going to have a car accident. It's part of the plan. If you were to have a car accident, you have the insurance in place and you know who to call and what would happen and where to get the rental car. And, you know, you've got a plan.
Yes.
But now the important thing is you've got this plan. Maybe you put it in a hanging folder, but you've got to share it with your loved ones. You might want to share it with your trusted advisors, your financial advisor, your CPA, your attorney, your estate planning attorney. A lot of people determine that it is time that they move forward and they want to make a change in their living environment, but they don't really know if they can afford it. And so we want to make sure they've spoken to a financial advisor because we don't want them to be, you know, house rich, cash poor. We need money in the bank to live off of.
Yeah.
For the what ifs, right? And one of the seminars, one of the talks I do is living to 100. And none of us think we're going to live to 100.
Good.
Because our grandparents didn't. Our
But
grandparents
we are now.
right? Right. So my grandparents all passed away in their early 80s, all four of them. And then you think, well, but I'm not going to live to 100 because, you know, my dad died at 77, etc. But guess what? We are living to 100 and we're not preparing financially or emotionally or house-wise to plan for what that looks like. So it's just an interesting, well, you shared the statistics right in the beginning. So you got to share that plan with other people, and you're not asking your kids for permission, by the way.
Good point.
You may not even be asking them for their opinion, but you want to share your intentions because Johnny Jr. and Annie, you know, your dad and I have been thinking that, you know, if something happens or if we decide we don't want to live in the home anymore, or we can't live in our home anymore that you kids grew up in, you know, we love our home. But if we decide this is where we think we would like to move, if this occurs or when this occurs, or maybe you decide we're going to be proactive, we're going to move here in the next 2 years. And so then the benefit is they are there. You're asking them to support you in the ways you want them to support you when the time comes. Some parents don't want their kids involved at all.
It makes sense to me.
And then some, it just depends on, you know, it's family dynamics. It's different with every family. That's what makes a family. We're all kind of wacky in our own, because people are wacky. So and then I think the next thing that I think gives peace of mind is surrounding yourself with the right professionals. So half the time I meet with someone, they don't know what move management involves. They don't know why we would need a move manager, for instance, well, there's just a lot of people that get involved with this, from estate sale people to liquidators, auction houses. Now we're talking about the stuff. And it's usually the stuff, which is really the step 4 that overwhelms people, and so they don't do anything. So they may need to move, they may want to move. It's like, but we can never move. We've got 62 years of stuff in our house. I've got my mother's stuff. We've got my husband's grandmother's things. The kids still have stuff in the garage. Well, we're never going to move because we can never get through all the stuff. But yes, you can. I downsized myself 9 months ago now. We moved in 4 days, and we lived in our home for decades, and we had all that same stuff. We don't rush people like that. We go on their timeline, which sometimes could be a year.
That's what I thought, that some people take longer to navigate all that than others for a variety of reasons.
For a variety of reasons. I mean, sometimes it's their health, or sometimes I was working with a couple, and in the middle of preparing for the move, he passed away. So that changed everything. The direction of everything, and changed the legal documentation. It changed everything. But, you know, I think that's what we like to do. We sit down with people and we say, well, you know, tell me what the motivation would be. What do you want this to look like? And then we talk about the options,
Yeah.
aging in place. And so we'll give people resources to age in place. And people are always shocked. Well, why would you do that? You're a realtor. You want to sell my house. I said, you know, I'm different. I'm not your typical realtor. I want you to be in a safe, happy, healthy environment and enjoying life.
Yeah.
And so where is that, and for how long? So
You know,
again,
Dayna, the one question that comes up for me now when we talk about this, and you talked about pre-planning, which is one of our mantras here at Life is a Sacred Journey for everything, because as we get older, we don't want to sit around worrying about what's going to happen if, and I like what you say, your what ifs. But you know, a lot of people, that denial word is strong. I'm thinking of a couple of people right now that I love, but I know their living situation needs to change, but they're not even thinking that. They're thinking holding on to their property is the best thing for them, when in fact moving into an assisted living as a couple, one who is not as ill as one, but both may need needs down the line. How do you have or begin that conversation? Because I think, you know, that is the biggest challenge, to give up you know, baby boomers worked hard for their homes. It's not, we're a different breed of individuals. We are the digger deepers. We are the root people. We like to root in. Whereas, you know, my son is a millennial. That's not the same. They're like, I'm not comfortable here anymore. Boom, go. We're not like that. We will suffer and thrive on neglect before we do anything else. So how do we have these begin? I think your seminars, I want to hear more and let people know how they find those, but how do we begin to have those conversations with someone who really feels, you know, no, my home is where I need to be, but that home is becoming a albatross around them, and they don't even realize it.
Right. It's very hard. I think sometimes, yeah, it is. Those are those 5 stages of readiness. It's almost about planting the seeds.
Seeds, yeah.
Because here's what most adult children do, which is the what not to do.
Yes.
They're sitting around the Thanksgiving table with all the family, and out of nowhere, they say to mom and dad, you guys need to move.
Right.
we can see, we're looking around, you know, the yard looks terrible, and you're not paying your bills, and I mean, poor, you know, dad can barely walk. He hasn't gotten his new hip yet. You guys need to move. That's not how you do it. That is not going to be well accepted. So, but the problem is, I think we all tend to wait until the crisis occurs to have that conversation about housing and care options. So it's planting the seeds. It's bringing it up in little tiny chunks of, gosh, I noticed that you're not really using the living room anymore. You know, Dad, do you have any friends that live in any of these communities that I've seen? Have you ever gone and visited them? And, you know, he may say yes or no. It's like, well, I don't know. It could be a cool place, just saying. I mean, and you do that very, not at Thanksgiving in front of everybody, but just little tiny seeds at a time. And, or you might say, gosh, I attended the seminar. I learned so much. I'd love to share some information that I heard and see if any of that makes sense to you.
Yeah.
I even took my mom once to a soup tasting at a senior community, and it was just a fun thing to do. We got to vote on the soup for the next month
Good idea.
that the chef had done, and we got to vote on presentation and taste and color and all that stuff, and it was fun. And so as we left, my mom said, I'd never been in one of those senior communities. It was very nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just, again, about, if you want to be the one in charge of your own life,
Mm-hmm.
you must start doing the research. It's just like anything. We are all very well equipped. We can all do this.
Mm-hmm.
We made choices on what college to go to. We made choices on who we might have married. We made choices. We've made important life decisions throughout our entire lives.
Mm-hmm.
We can still continue to do this. And the more you know, the less fear, I believe, you'll have. Because it's always fear of the unknown.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
I always say moving is one of those big life stresses. Obviously, I will never tell anyone, oh, moving's easy, because moving is not easy.
No, it's not.
It is just not easy. It's not easy at any age,
Mm-mm.
really. So we don't ever say, oh, it's going to be a piece of cake, but we say we will help you make it easier, because there are people that are going to help you through everything,
Mm-hmm.
whether it's deciding what to take with you and leaving behind. And then those things you're going to take, we have a whole system of, do you need it? Do you want it? Does it bring you joy? And will it fit?
There you go. Will it fit? Yes.
Will it fit? Right. So again, you asked the question about how do you bring up these conversations. I have seen some couples. It's very interesting with the couples. I'm dealing with a couple right now, and they're at a complete stalemate. And I don't know if I personally can help them.
Oh, okay.
They truly may need to get some counseling first, because they're on such opposite ends of the spectrum of being ready. But I have had some couples where the one couple, one of the spouses, for instance, or partner, will say, you know what? I'm doing this because I love Jeannie, and I want to know that if something happens to me, she's going to be okay.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So they're doing it more as a gift. Or some people, singles or married, it doesn't matter. They may say, I'm gonna get rid of my stuff now. I'm gonna move to someplace that's a little bit more manageable, so I can spend more time seeing the grandkids and having fun. And I'm doing it as a gift to my kids, so that they don't have to go through my stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing. Because I have garage full of stuff, and I am doing exactly that. Just taking little bits of it. That's what Dayna's saying to you guys is so important. Don't, if you have the time and you can plan, start with cleaning up your stuff. I found out I'm a book lover, and so I have books everywhere. But I found out, do you know how many versions of Harry Potter I have? I have 3 versions of Harry Potter, because I had my copy, and my son had his copies, and my daughter had her copies. And I'm like, okay, Michelle, how many copies of Harry Potter do you need? So and that's small in the whole spectrum of what we're talking about. But that is one of the things that when you begin to go and look, you realize the things that you have. And I laughed at myself, but the good news is I have young people in my life, so I can give them away, except for one copy. But you gotta sit with it for a minute. You gotta, like Dayna said, get through that emotional connection, because all 3 of copies have an emotional connection to me, because they came in my life at different times.
Oh boy.
You see?
Well, and look at, you're zeroing in on one book, and you have probably a room full of books.
Oh, 2 or 3 rooms. Yeah.
So I think another maybe handy tip is, and I think family members that want to come and help mom and dad, they may have the best of intentions, but I'm telling you, it doesn't usually go well, because the kids say, well, throw it away, mom, just throw it away. And then the mom doesn't feel like like some of these things reflect her life.
Exactly.
And it's not, she's not feeling validated with that. So even though the kids may feel a sense of duty or guilt or something, and they feel like they have to help their parents, there all these underlying tensions sometimes come along. So
Yes.
again, another reason to potentially hire an outside professional that does this every day, and they'll let you tell your stories about these things, and you can take pictures of the things, make a scrapbook. You can take, so I'm working with another family right now, and they have a huge dining room table, huge. They're used to having dinners for 20.
Oh, okay.
That huge table is not going to fit where they're moving.
No, it sure isn't.
But guess what? They can bring maybe a few of those chairs that they love, and one of the hutches will fit. They can't bring both. So and don't get rid of your china. Eat off of it every day. And you don't need, settings for 24 anymore. Maybe
Yeah.
keep settings for 8. You
Yeah.
don't have to just get rid of it all. But I know you've heard this 1,000 times, but unfortunately, our kids don't want our stuff, and it's not worth what we think it is.
Yeah.
And there's got to be a market for it. That's the problem. Even though we spent X amount on this fabulous piece of whatever furniture, if it's not in vogue, if there's no one that wants to buy it, it doesn't matter what we bought it for or what we think it's worth. It's sort of the same in real estate, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Totally that.
When people say, well, I want this much for my house, same with your set of china, it kind of doesn't matter what you paid for it, what it would cost to rebuild it, what your neighbor says it's worth, what you owe on it. None of that matters. It's what a buyer's willing to pay and you're willing to accept. Same with the china.
Yep. Yep.
Same
So
with the
Dayna,
china.
are you finding in this current 21st century that people are able to sell their homes? Of course, it depends on where you live and the geography and all of that. But if they're able to sell their homes and with their income, Social Security, retirement, 401, whatever, that, I mean, in your experience, that they are able to move into situations that are less stressful, and the quality of life is better maintained. What is your experience there? Because I think people need to not be afraid to let go of their home if it will help them have a better quality of life.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do every week.
Yeah.
That's what I do every week. And it's such a, people always say, well, why didn't we do this earlier?
See, yeah.
I do focus groups. I've done focus groups at some of the senior communities. And I'll ask people, sometimes they're people that have lived there for quite a few years. Sometimes they're brand new residents. Sometimes they're couples, they're singles, women, men. I like a good mixture. And I just ask them questions about, what do you wish you knew then that you know now? And then my last question is always, what would you tell the next people that are facing a big life transition like this? And they all say it's the overriding thing: wish we'd done it earlier.
Yeah.
Wish we'd done it earlier. But there were learnings, there were things that they maybe, if they'd known a little bit more, would have made it a little easier. My December seminar is exactly that. It's always my favorite one. It's going to be a panel of people that have downsized and are here to tell the tale.
Oh, wow.
That survival is an option.
Survival, yes.
Yeah, and it's so cute because I don't know what's going to come out of their mouths, really. They just tell it like it is, and it's so wonderful because they've done it. So they're a great teacher for the next people that are thinking about how they're going to do it.
How they're going to do it. So how does our Life is a Sacred Journey family and others who will watch this later get involved with your seminars? So, yeah.
Well, quite easily. They are usually advertised in the paper, believe it or not, and it goes out in all of the publications that are. I guess it's a Bay Area news group, so I think it goes out to like 90,000 readers. It's always, you can RSVP and register on day-realestate.com/seminars. So
Okay.
DAY-realestate.com and then /seminars and events. And you can always see what's coming up next. Now, we only have the next 2 listed, but pretty soon we'll have the whole 2024 schedule listed. First Wednesday of every month, 10 to
Okay.
11:30 at the Lafayette Library.
Okay.
And we have people coming from San Francisco, Brentwood, gosh.
From probably all
Pasadena.
over the Bay Area, because this is becoming a growing. I know you have your pencil and pen or whatever, so write it down. It's the first Wednesday of each month at the Lafayette Library. So even if you just know that fact, you can then go. Now you've met Dayna Wilson, and so you can definitely go to her website and find it out, pick up the phone, call. But I think it's important for those of us that are living our best lives, and right now there's nothing happening that's making us frightened about our health, except for a little pain and a little arthritis for me. But other than that, we're still living, we're still doing our thing, and to start to plan, starting with, the Harry Potter books, all the way to, do I want to stay in this area? Is it important for me to stay on this side of the Bay? Do I really want to be, all those things? Expat, I heard Dayna talk about that, because I know I've been pondering whether or not to become an expat. So all those, all those conversations that you need to have with somebody who can help you, and not, what? I love what you said, Dayna. I have a lot of dear family. I love my family. None of them are, a lot of them are not local. And I have a lot of great friends that I can get, and colleagues get advice from. But sometimes I find that when I speak to a stranger, somebody who doesn't have a dime in the quarter, like trying to please me, trying to figure out whether I'm hurt, and I'm not putting that down. Don't stop doing that, friends. I need you to keep doing that. But for these kind of issues, sometimes it's really great to walk in a room and have a one-on-one professional conversation where it's not emotionally tied to anything. Right. Other than your experience in what you're asking for. So think about all those things. And Dayna, as far as your real estate reach, because I'm in neurology and healthcare, so you're going to have to help me. You can help people throughout the Bay Area, wherever they live, or how does that work?
So I am a big believer that no one can be everything to everyone, and I always want the best for a client. And if I don't know the area well, I will refer you to somebody like me that can help you like I can. And I will do the due diligence, and I will come up with a name or 2, and then they can interview them and see if it's a good fit.
There you go.
So I'm mostly Contra Costa County.
Okay.
Once in a while I dip into Alameda, Oakland, Alameda Island, Berkeley Hills.
Okay.
I've gone out to Livermore, Brentwood, but it just tends to be the kind of 24/680 Central Contra Costa, mostly because that's sort of where I live, work, and play, and raise my kids, and I guess more people know me here. There are people like me that are certified senior housing professionals across the United States, and so if somebody wanted someone to come in and handle everything from A to Z and help their mom, that maybe you're living here, but your mom lives in Georgia or New York, or you're in, we can help you with that too.
Oh, okay. That's good to know. That's an excellent fact. Thank you, Dayna. Yeah, because I know at Alzheimer's Services of the East Bay, we have a lot of folks that we care for, but their son or daughter does not live in the Bay Area. And so we're always having conversations with them with that 3-hour time difference, 2-hour, whatever, but really keeping them in the loop. of the care of their loved one. And so this would also apply for those of you who are thinking about moving out of the area, whether it is to be an expat or just to move, like I've been thinking about moving back home to New York. Yes, California has been my home for the last 30 plus years, but New York will always be a place where I want to live and be, and I'm thinking about it. So if I were going to do that, what would that mean? Would I rent my house? And then Dayna could help me decide that, whether that's even worth doing. All of those kinds of things. Or do I sell it and run with the money? Or she could also help me find a place on the opposite side of the coast that would fit my long-term care aging needs. And when we do aging in this way, Dayna, I believe then we will get rid of some of the stigma, because ageism is in every part of what we do. And if we prepare folks and we feel like we're in charge of our life, except for the part that we're not, which is when we take our last breath, but then we are prepared even for that. When I tell you to do your long-term care, your hospice, all of that, it's not to get you in a doom and gloom situation. It's so you can rejoice.
And it gives you peace of mind. It's peace of mind. It's having that plan and just having peace of mind. And frankly, it gives your family peace of mind as well. So
exactly.
you're giving your loved ones a gift, if you will, and yourself as well.
Exactly.
So,
exactly. Yeah. Well, we have come to the end of our time with Dayna Wilson, but I want to tell you something, Dayna, that is, really something that I feel from you. You, yes, are a businesswoman, a community advocate for seniors, but I feel that there's a loving kindness that you are bringing to your work. And I think that's something that, a lot of times people laugh at, but I know that when I'm working or serving and walking beside people who are trying to make life decisions, if I didn't have loving kindness in my heart sometimes, most of the time, it would be difficult to serve them with an openness and with a way of saying, okay, I get what this person is going through. They need me to slow down, or they need me to. So thank you so much for, even on Zoom, I'm feeling that. And I think that a lot of times that's what, us seniors are feeling. We're like, I don't feel seen.
Yeah. What you do and what I do is an honor.
Yeah.
And yes, it pays the bills because we do need to eat.
Yeah, absolutely.
But to just, you said it, to walk with someone, to sit there, to listen to them and have them know that they're being heard. There's a Dr. David Soley, How to Say It to Seniors. Have you read that book?
Yes. That's what
the two big things is, what kind of life have I led? What kind of legacy am I going to leave? And then losing control in a world where all control is getting lost. And so, who can you turn to? Find somebody that is astute at a later in life move. And maybe it's not now, maybe you're just in the planning stages, and that's great.
Yeah.
So you be the captain of your own ship, you be the driver, you make the decisions, you live your life by design, not default. Don't let other people tell you what is right for you, but go do the homework. This is the hardest part of the journey, is you do the homework and you do the research. So now you are equipped, you're informed, and you are empowered to make those decisions that are going to be your decisions and right for you in your particular unique situation in life. And you'll be much happier for it.
Yes, and this really applies to us as women as well. I love, I love our male counterparts, but women, we are aging and we still live longer. 78% of us will outlive our mates. And so what does that mean? So don't get in the doom and gloom mode of that, but get in the mode of it that your loved one would want you to live your best life. And so let's prepare for that now and figure it out. And I know there's a lot of United Women in faith that follow us here at Life is a Sacred Journey. And if you are in the Contra Costa area and would like to take a group to a seminar the first Wednesday of each month at the Lafayette Library, please do that. If you would like to have Dayna come in and because I know you have your weekly, monthly group meetings where you bring in community leaders, Dayna is also available to come in and talk with your groups. But I just have to do a special plug there. As a United Woman in Faith, I wanted to make sure that you knew here's another resource. And this is the kind of information that we women who are aging in place and who are Zoomers. I'm a Zoomer.
Yeah.
Love that. I love that, Dayna. Thank you. I'm a Zoomer, and who are Zoomers and savvy seniors and boomers. This is the type of information that we need for ourselves and to share with those that we love. So please do that. Dayna, what is your phone number?
You are amazing. We've got to go have lunch.
Okay, we will do that.
My number is 925-788-6582.
6582. 925, folks, area code 788-6582. And I recently learned in dialing these numbers on my cell phone, I had to put a 1 in front of it. So just figure. Yeah. I'm like, everything changes, folks, including us. I'm gonna ask Dayna to stay on for a few more minutes, but you know how I sign off with you. First of all, let's thank Dayna for coming this morning and sharing her wealth of information. There's more to come. We'll have her come back again and make this an ongoing sort of once a quarter kind of visit so that you remind yourself about what you need to do. Also, the first Wednesday of each month at the Lafayette Library, there's something there for you to learn so you can begin to come up with a plan, get one of these old stupid books from the 99-cent store and start writing some stuff down and carry it with you. Throw it in the back seat of the car. And then every time you go back once a month, you'll have a new topic. And then one day sit down and read it and go, okay, this works for me.
We're giving people binders. Starting in January, we're going to start binders so that they don't have to have scraps of paper everywhere. So we're going to try to get.
Oh, there you go, friends. Dayna's got you covered.
7 years we've been doing this for 7 years, and just know that if you come, we're never salesy. We're not trying to sell you on anything.
Thank you, Dayna.
It's just a panel of experts that I think are some of the best local folks in whatever topic it is. And it's not all about real estate, please. Real estate's like 20% of it. It's just about life.
And you know what? Carpool. Carpool together, take a group with you. All right, my friends, have a wonderful weekend. Get out, take a walk, get into the world, smile at somebody, say good morning. We've forgotten all these really cool things that made us a humanity and held us together even in our differences. So let's try to bring those things back. Good morning. You don't have to be in love with the person to say good morning. Hallelujah. And you don't have to be in love with them to smile at them. But you know what happens when you do that? You take the vibration in the world higher. And we got to stop complaining about all the isms. We got to start changing them by just being a shining light to another person. Also,
sister.
You're welcome, Dayna. And if you are out there feeling sad, lonely, and that your life doesn't matter, we end the show this way every week. 988 is your friend. I know you may have a pastor. I know you may have a friend that you think might be able to get you through this. But if you're really having thoughts of taking your life for whatever reason, pick up the phone, get a phone, text, call 988. There are professionals there that will help you through this moment and get you the resources that you need. Your life is important. And even though you think at this moment it's the darkest, gloomiest place, it might be, but there's somebody there to help you to get you through that next second. And all of us at Life is a Sacred Journey love you, and you matter to us. And so please keep 988 on your heart. And if you need it, do that instead of taking your life. Give life a chance. It will get better if you hang in there. So thank you, everybody. Go out, pet a cat, pet a dog, hug a tree. If you do those three things, I promise you, you'll feel better about the world and you'll feel better about yourself. You know why? Because you are marvelously, magnificently made. All right, good friends, have a wonderful weekend and I'll see you next Friday, and I'll be back at my office because I'll have my car back. All right, peace.